Hello and welcome to this video lecture on the topic alternate cinema. I am Dr. Telaram Meher, Assistant Professor, Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, Odisha State Open University, Sambalpur. Welcome you all to this video lecture. Why we study the alternate cinema? As you know that alternate cinema topic means that this is the vast world of the cinema where mainstream film dominate the box office and capturing the global audience with their high budget productions, star-struck cast and entertaining narratives. Why the alternative cinema is needed and why the study is needed in the area of alternate cinema. Alternate cinema of the mode of the filmmaking that deviates from the mainstream commercial cinema in terms of storytelling, production technique, thematic concerns and aesthetic choices. Unlike conventional film that primarily focus on entertainment and box office success, alternative cinema seek to challenge the traditional norms, experiment with visual and narrative styles. The addresses socially relevant issue. This form of cinema is often associated with the independent art house, avant-garde and parallel film movements. Over the years, alternative cinema has played a significant role in shaping the film cultures by offering audience a fresh perspective on storytelling and human experience. What are the characteristics of the alternate cinema means? It's a non-traditional narrative. One of the most defining features of the alternative cinema is departure from conventional storytelling techniques. While mainstream film often follow a structured linear narrative with a clear beginning, middle and end, alternative films embraces fragmented, non-linear or open-ended storytelling. It is also low-budget production. If you talk about the alternative cinema, having the budget of the alternative cinema is low as compared to the mainstream cinema. Alternative films are typically produced on a lower budget compared to the big budget commercial movies. Independent filmmakers often face financial constraints, leading them to use the minimalistic sets, natural locations, and non-professional actor. However, this limitation frequently serve as a strength, encouraging creativity and innovations. Low-budget filmmaking allow for greater artistic freedom, as directors are not bound by demand of the large studio or commercial exploitation. If you talk about the where it is the social relevant themes, means alternative cinema is known for its deep engagement with the social, political and philosophical theme. Unlike mainstream film, which often focuses on entertainment, alternative films addresses the real world issues such as poverty, gender inequality, political oppression, existential dilemma and cultural identity. If you talk about the one of the features is experimental cinematography is one of the features of the alternate cinema. The visual language of alternative cinema is often distinct and unconventional. Filmmakers experiment with various cinematographic techniques such as handheld camera movement, long takes, jump cut, natural lighting and unconventional framing. These elements contribute to a raw, authentic aesthetics that differentiate the alternative film from polish. If you talk about another feature is emphasis on realism, alternative cinema often strives for realism, portraying life as it's rather than idealizing it. This commitment to the realism is evident in the use of real locations, everyday situations and ordinary people as characters. Many alternative cinemas avoid exaggerated performance, melodrama, opting instead of subtle and nuanced acting that mirrors real life emotions at a high production value and commercial film. If you talk about what are the cultural relevance of the alternative cinema means alternative cinema represent a significant departure from the mainstream filmmaking by embracing narratives and perspective that challenges the dominating cinematic convention. It provides a platform for marginalized voice and serve as a means of cultural and political expression. This form of cinema often highlights the live experience of the communication from global south, portraying their struggles, traditions, and aspirations with authenticity and depth. Unlike the commercial film that prioritize profit and entertainment, alternative cinema uses storytelling as a vehicle for social critique, addressing issues such as economic inequality, systematic oppressions, and human rights violations. Its focus on raw realism, diverse representation of makes it powerful medium in the Indian cinema filmmaking. If you talk about the moreover, alternative cinema is defined by its innovative storytelling techniques and global influence. By rejecting formulaic plots and linear narratives, it opens up new possibility for cinematic expressions through non-linear structures, symbolic imaginary, and experimental cinematography. If you talk about the another or its the cultural relevance of the alternative cinema means it represents the marginal voices of marginalized and highlight the tradition and struggle of the global south, provide the authentic cultural representations of every culture of the Indian culture or East Western culture, challenges stereotype and dominant narratives. If we talk about the then what is non-fiction cinema and how it is different from the alternative cinema? Non-fictional cinema is powerful and influential genre that seeks to the portray reality by capturing the actual event, people, places without resorting to the fictionalized and dramatization. Unlike narrative films, which are structured around imaginary stories, non-fiction cinema is rooted in truth and factual representations. It serves as a multiple purposes, including documentations, educations, advocacy, and artistic experimentation. It depicts the real event, real people, and issue with dramatizations used for documentation, educations, advocacy, and artistic expression. It includes the format like documentary, newsreel, travelogues, and biographies. What are the characteristics of the non-fiction cinema? Means it gives the commitment to the authenticity and reality. At its core, non-fiction cinema is dedicated to representing the real-life event, individuals, and social phenomena as accurately as possible. Filmmakers strive for authenticity by relying on factual sources, first-hand accounts, and direct observation. However, it is essential to acknowledge that even in non-fiction cinema, the filmmaker perspective, choices in editing, and narrative construction can shape the way of story that is presented. And we can talk about the wide range in format and style. I mean, non-fiction cinema is not confined to the single format, rather it encompasses diverse from the cater to various storytelling needs and audiences preferences. Some of the most common type include documentary. These are the in-depth exploration of real-life subject ranging from social, political issue, historical event, and scientific discovery. If you talk about the newsreel, one of the type of the non-fictional cinema, it is historically used in the theaters before the feature film. Newsreel provides short textual reports on current events. If you talk about the educational films, means these are designed to inform, instruct the viewer on specific topics, often used in the academic and training setting. If you talk about the types, is biographical films, means non-fictional portrayal of significant personalities, providing insight into their lives, achievements, and challenges. If you talk about the travel and nature films, means this capture the landscape, culture, wildlife, and human experience in different part of the world. If you talk about the observational cinema, means a style that allow the camera to follow subject with minimal interference, capturing life as it's unfold naturally. If we talk about what is the purpose and impact of the non-fictional cinema serves the multiple purposes beyond just documenting reality. It plays a vital role in educating audiences, spreading awareness, and advocating for meaningful causes. Some key objectives include education and information. As you know, already discussed that many of the non-fictional cinema films are created to inform the public about the significant social, historical, and scientific topic. Yeah, it also socially and political advocacy, documentary film, and investigative journalism expose injustices, corruptions, and systematic problem, often speaking discussion and calls for change. If you talk about the one of the purpose and impact is environmental awareness. Many non-fictional cinema focuses on climate change, wildlife conservation, environmental sustainability, encouraging people to take action for the planet. As you know that we are in an era where climate changes day by day, it is affect our life. And then talk about the artistic exploration, means while rooted in reality, non-fictional cinema is also serve as a artistic medium, allowing filmmaker to experiment with form and storytelling techniques to create a compelling narratives. If you talk about the technique and the stylistic approach of the non-fiction cinema, means the visual and narratives which and technique used in the non-fictional cinema vary widely depending on the filmmaker's intent and also nature of the subject. Some of the most common techniques are include real footage, because in the non-fictional cinema we can use the real footage for the filmmaking, and non-fictional filmmaker rely on the actual video recording or photographic evidence rather than stage scenes. If we talk about the interview, conversation with the expert, eyewitness or key individual help provide the depth and multiple perspective on the subject. Voiceover narration is often used to provide the context, explain concept and guide viewers through a story. Archival material, historical footage, photographs, letter and other documents are frequently incorporated to enhance the authenticity. If we talk about the types of non-fictional cinema, then as you already discussed about that 2-3 types, means documentary film is one of the types of the non-fictional cinema, where documentary filmmaking is one of the most significant and widely recognized form of the non-fiction cinema. It seeks to present the real-life story, issues and historical events through investigative research, interview and real-world footage. Documentaries often address social, political, environmental topics, aiming to educate and inspire audience by shedding light on lesser-known issue and perspective. As you know that documentary film also various types, like if you talk about the observational documentary, participatory documentary, expository documentary. If you talk about the newsreel were an important form of non-fictional cinema, especially in the early to the mid 20th century. Before the advent of the television, this short film provided the audience with visual reports of global events and significant political development. Typically screened in cinema before feature films, newsreel also played a crucial role in keeping the public informed. And if you talk about the types is nature and wildlife films, nature and wildlife film focuses on capturing the beauty of diversity of the natural world, often showcasing the plant, animals, and ecosystem in their authentic habitats. These films serve multiple purposes, including scientific documentations, environmental awareness, and the scientific entertainment. It also serves as an entertainment by bringing the wonders of nature to the screen. They inspire audience to speak more and appreciate to protect the environment. If we talk about the educational and training films, as you know that there are various films are made on the to educate the peoples. Educational and training film are specifically designed to provide the instructional content to a variety of topics, including health, safety, science, media, industry, social awareness, etc. These films are often used in schools, workplaces, public service campaigns to convey essential information in an engaging and accessible manner. If you talk about the why you study non-fictional cinema, means studying the non-fictional cinema is essential because it offers a powerful lens through which to understand the real life events, societal issue and diverse human experiences with authenticity and depth. Online fictional cinema, non-fictional cinema through documentary, biographical films and investigative features capture the historical moments, expose social injustice and promote the awareness and advocacy. And the notable example of non-fictional cinema means the Thin Blue Line 1988, based on an investigative documentary on wrongful conviction, and Inconvenient Truth, which came in the year 2006, which based on the climate change awareness. Writing with the Fire, the film is made on in the year 2021, where the women-led grassroots journalism in India. The Elephant Whisper, which is came in the year 2022, indigenous conversation effort and based on the relationship between a elephant and his mahanta. Then, if you talk about the conclusion, means alternative cinema or non-fictional cinema serve as a powerful tools for social awareness, cultural preservation, and storytelling innovations. Studying them enhances our understanding of global reality, inspiring meaningful change. Thank you all for this video lecture.